I think I like this lighting, but you don't know me, and that's completely fine. So for those of you who are new here, sorry, I put my hair up today. That has nothing to do with me introducing myself. For those of you who are new here, I'm Olivia Sade. Welcome to my channel. I really did want to start off this new year on like a good footing, and I want you guys to get to know me personally. So I opened up my Instagram post. I opened up my Instagram story to questions that you may have about me. I really wanted like creative questions, so I'm gonna answer a few of them today in this video. I want to really get to know you guys and get to know myself personally. I feel like within like a year time span, you can literally change so much, and I realized that as the year ended, I felt like, oh my god, I ended this past year like on a whole different note than I did starting it. So I definitely wanted to start like doing that and recording how I am at the beginning of a year compared to the end of the year. God, this is to future live. This is for you. I did want to take some time today to answer some questions that you guys have asked me, just so you guys can get to know me better and that I can, like, you know, answer. This door being open is gonna bother me, so let me go close it. An unrequested, nobody asked for a fit check. Okay, completely get lost in my phone as per usual. Here are a couple questions that I got. So someone said, what would you say your biggest mental struggle is and how do you work around it? I personally think that what I'm really struggling with mentally is just balance. Literally with everything that I do, so financially, business wise, personally, I just feel like I don't have like a structure that I implement for myself. As some of you guys may know, I don't attend college. I think I've answered that in one of my last question videos, which I'll include somewhere down below, so you can kind of see the difference of who I was before compared to me talking to you now. It's very much on me. I'm an entrepreneur full-time. I don't have like a job or like a side hustle at the moment. It's literally just me, my brand, and my creative direction that's really just like funding everything that I do, basically. What's very difficult about that is that you really have to be on yourself 1000% of the time, and when you have a bad day, that completely affects literally everything that you're doing. So if I don't feel like doing something one day, it will not get done because I'm the only person that does it. That's really like, that's very heavy to carry around, especially when you're on top of like social media. You have brand things that you have to complete, and you have opportunities that you need to do, whether you like them or you're motivated to do it or not. It's really your source of income. What I've been learning lately is that finances don't really rule my life, but I know that they contribute to everything that I want to do. So the beginning of the year, I really sat down with myself and I said, okay, this year you're really gonna budget and address your goals. This year I really want to travel, so I took the time out to say, okay, I'm gonna save this amount of money for these amount of trips that I want to take this year, as well as I want to expand on a business scale. I do want to have different items out. I want to have just people who appreciate my ideas, my creativity, and my brand in them. So it's like really hard to rely on yourself 1000% of the time, because I literally, like, despite all my social media presence, I do have my bad days, and I literally have to be that person for myself to motivate myself. I have to be my biggest cheerleader. I have to be my own financial advisor in everything that I do, and I have to be a worker 1000%. So I think that's kind of like my biggest struggle so far, and it's been my biggest struggle. I mean it gets better as I'm like taking steps to get better. What I mean by that is, like, because I'm not in school, I know that I have responsibilities on myself to teach myself And I think before that I used it as an excuse, like, oh, I don't go to school, I don't know how to manage my finances, it is what it is. And now I realize, like, no, you want to manage your finances, learn how to do it. Take time out your day, an hour or so, and learn, okay, how to budget more efficiently, or how do I spend more, like, how do I spend my money in a smart way, or how do I invest in myself for the future. Like, I just opened up a savings account, like an actual online savings account that earns interest for me as I, you know, grow and mature. By the time I'm 35, I should have like a good, nice savings account to refer back to. And honestly, I feel like high school and school in general doesn't really teach you how to look out for your future self. So again, in the past, I was making excuses for myself because I was just too lazy to actually investigate and try to learn something. And I felt like, okay, if I'm not in school, I don't really have to do anything like that. I don't have to do this, I don't have to do that. But I really learned that, like, you have to be on top of yourself. If you're confused about something, definitely educate yourself, because you're looking out for yourself. So my biggest mental struggle, literally, is myself. Ooh. Someone asks, what motivated you to start your creative journey? I feel like sometimes I get very hesitant to speak on being a creative or how I got into fashion, because I feel like that's the most popular question that I get. I only don't, sorry, I'm like moving around so much. I feel like some people just try to categorize me as a fashion influencer when I feel like I'm way more than that. I feel like I'm really smart, I love different things, I'm very quirky, and I feel like, not to blame anyone, because I feel like that's how social media is. You kind of just get portrayed one way and people just categorize you with a group of people. But my creative journey literally started since I was like this big. I've always been so invested in creative and super like interested, and knew that a career in fashion and the creative arts and directing was going to be something that I was going to be in regardless of whatever I was doing. So in high school, I took all my fashion classes, sewing and all that, and then I also participated in art. So I was in art all of my years in high school. I have to remember, it's so long ago, but I was really invested and I was really creative. But one thing that I really just didn't like about creative schooling or fashion school was that there was prompts, and you can't really have a free reign on what you want to discover and improve on. So you have to follow the certain curriculum, you have to do exactly what they say, instead of just wanting to say, hey, I want to learn how to make pants, can you help me do that? I went to a community college that offered fashion classes, but again, I think that structure of teacher and student wasn't really something that I enjoyed. Like, I'm really not a student at all. I've always been into fashion, and only recently did I really discover that creative direction could be you know, a career path that I take for myself. I always was creative directing, or I was doing at-home shoots where I was getting really creative, trying to figure out like, oh, how do I make this look like this, and how do I bring my ideas from paper to life. So I literally think that if you're creative, you know that you're creative. It's not something that you can pick up from other people, or you can just say, oh, like maybe I'll dabble in it, because it's already within you. If you're in arts, if you're in directing, if you're into music, creative is literally boundless. You can create anything. Guys, my eyelashes are bothering me. But yeah, as I was saying, being a creative is literally like the hardest job in the world. I mean, you know how you say that, somebody's like, no, it's not, being a doctor is the hardest, and it's like, yeah, you're right, everything's hard. And I just knew like from jump that I wanted to be a fashion designer. Only recently did I learn that fashion designer is not the only career in fashion, which is weird, because like growing up, you always just feel like, oh my god, fashion designer, oh my god, astronaut, oh my god, like police officer, when there's like a whole division within that division of career paths that you can take. So I would say forever. Someone had asked, what would you do if you weren't a creative? Now this is like a great question, because I feel like everybody always just assumes that like, oh, creator or creative, like that's just like the main thing that you always wanted to do. And in reality, I've lived like 1,000 different lives. I've literally did gymnastics, I did ballet, I swimming, like I excelled at everything I did, and I just chose to pursue fashion seriously and as a career path. But honestly, in a different life, because I'm not a student, I would really try to get into criminal justice. I really enjoy like investigations. I enjoy Dateline 2020. It's just cool to put together pieces and be like, okay, no, this connects to that. And I'm like an internet detective. Like, I'm not like a real detective, but in a different life I would definitely get into like criminal justice and like the whole detective side of it, because I do enjoy like puzzles and like mysteries and like trying to put things together. And I don't know, I don't think I have the stomach for it, but like ideally I would like to do that. What was the process of becoming a creative director, and what was your first project? Honestly, I can't think off the top of my head what my first project was. I feel like I always was directing or had ideas geared towards what I wanted to do. So say if I had like a new piece of clothing coming out, or if my friend asked me to do a shoot, I'm like, okay, thinking maybe we could do this, maybe we could do that. Like, I never identified with the word creative director or creative directing only until recently. But there is no specific process into being a creative director. If that's something you want to do, if you feel like you have great ideas that you can gear toward people who are interested in shooting, or you have good ideas for campaigns, you know, personal projects, personal films, you're literally a creative director within yourself. What's great about the creative field is that you have no higher up. I mean, unless you're in like the corporate world, but if you're working for yourself, you literally dictate your own process. So what I can say worked for me may not work for you, but we can still both be successful as creative directors. In the beginning, I was just getting sheets from the thrift. I was getting thrifted vases, thrifted you know, thrifted props, or buying props with my own money and trying to bring my ideas to life. One of my most favorite shoots that I kind of feel went under the radar just a little bit was vintage book covers. I was always seeing it on Pinterest, and I thought it would be super cool to use, you know, femme fatale, you know, women that are beautiful to recreate book covers. So I reached out to Juliet, Nicole, and Liv, and I absolutely brought everything to life. I have a video currently out that explained or showed much of the process of how I brought each set to life, but it really took a lot of time, and not everything has to be money. You can literally DIY a project. And what's great about platforms now is that people on like TikTok or YouTube are very open about sharing their process on, okay, I did a photo shoot today, this is how I created this set, or this is where I shopped, or this is where you can get materials if you want to do things like that. So it's very great that now we are in like a culture of where we're all, you know, sharing ideas and helping each other and giving pointers out. And yeah, that shoot was very like fun and so out there, and hit everything that I was going for, and I really did love it. It did take a lot of effort, time. I actually was outsourcing props from thrift stores, you know, trying to put everything together to get everything that was in my mind brought to real life. And that was literally, that video is a great you know, answer to your question, because that's exactly my process with everything that I do. That I think about it first, I write down who I want to work with, I write down how I see it, where I can get the props, how I imagine the set, and then shoot day. And literally all up into shoot day is like straight anxiety. So yeah, that video is great. What ultimately pushed you to starting your brand? Now, if you've been here for a minute, you know that my brand ultimately did not start as a clothing brand. During quarantine, we were really, you know, the whole world was in shock, and it was a really difficult time for most, especially creatives who enjoyed like being outside, hanging out with other creatives, just literally, I can't even emphasize it, being outside. When quarantine was implemented, it was really hard to like imagine a reality for, you know, X amount of months or X amount of weeks that we have to be inside no matter what. So I was really inside, and I was thinking like, what is a way that I can get people inspired to, you know, even though we're home and we're in these sort of circumstances, or still are, how can we still be inspired to create, to share, and make art, literally. So I thought like, oh my god, let me make a puzzle. I was like, let me make a puzzle of this little Kim and Eve spread and just sell it and have it be a cool thing that people can make, hang up, put on their desk, coffee table. So I made a puzzle set, And from there, I feel like people really saw like, oh my god, that's cool. Like I would have thought to do a puzzle, especially like during these times. From the puzzle set, I actually jumped right into custom jewelry, and I went with custom jewelry for a second. It was something that I really felt was like fitting for my brand at the time, but from there I realized that I kind of was putting myself in a bubble with like the custom jewelry brands, and I didn't want to get into that because my true passion was actually creating clothes. I just didn't know how to go about it in like a mass production way that I am doing like right now. After I decided to like really tone down on custom jewelry and custom bamboos, I got into my first swim collection, which was a New York summer bikini collection, which was really cool in retrospect. Like I did a shoot for it, I creative directed the shoot, and it just embodied everything that I was going for with the help of literally one of my closest friends, Manza. I handmade literally all the bikinis and all the swimsuits that came in, and it was a great time. I just think that from there I felt that I was super overwhelmed literally hand making all my swimsuits, and I really decided that if I'm going to jump into clothes, I have to get a manufacturer, just because it'll make it easy on me to really focus on designing and tapping into the potential of my creations, rather than sticking to like store-bought fabrics, manufacturing, and then like creating each, you know, personal swimsuit on the spot and shipping it out in a timely manner. So I really like decided to gear myself towards manufacturing and finding the right manufacturer for me, and that's what I've been doing ever since. So now I have, you know, my swim sets, I have a dress out, and I have my fuck baby tee out. So it's like I've literally grown from that puzzle set 2 years ago. Okay, so I'm gonna come across the last few just to make this a really like calm video. I don't know if it's falling asleep. What are your creative goals for the new year, and is there a dream collab? Ow. Okay, so my creative goals for the year, I definitely want to, regarding my creative direction brand, which is creator.online, I really want to just come full force like I've been doing in Olivia Sade with my creative direction brand. I feel like at times it's literally all on me, like I mentioned earlier, so I have to balance my time within everything that I invest into, which is crazy. But I recently creative directed for this New York based magazine called Icon Magazine, which is really cool. I did the cover and it was an amazing experience with them. They're a great magazine, highlighting New York creatives and just basic in the creative community. So if you're interested in being involved or getting to know creatives and having just a cool youthful magazine that's in our generation, in our time, definitely go check them out. But with that said, I definitely want to get more of a consistent clientele coming in with my creative direction brand, as well as just providing rental services. I feel like many people want to be creative directors, but they don't know where to go to get custom backdrops or custom props, or how to, you know, access a platform that highlights creatives in their area, or to just be informed and inspired on like, how does this creative that I follow or don't know, you know, motivate me in a way that I can create and learn from them. With Olivia Sade, I really want to expand. I feel like I have such a I feel like I've grown so much from my first swimsuit drop. I felt very not stuck, but I was like waiting to grow further, because at the time that was my only piece that I had in my shop, and like once you drop something, you're already on to your next design. It's so like you're very impatient and the process is super long, especially if you're working with a manufacturer overseas. Just like I'm making slow progress and building up almost a store, so it's very like exciting. I also am aiming to do a New York based pop-up shop this year. I don't want to get ahead of myself, because I know how, you know, expensive or like how I want it to be. I'm literally like a dreamer. Like I need it to have a vibe, but that's definitely something that I want to get into. I just want to establish myself in New York and establish my brand in New York before I venture out into different states and try to tap into different audiences regarding like pop-ups and things like that. Ow, ow, ow. My foot keeps falling asleep. I'm gonna answer the last 2 questions. Someone said, is the Utah vlog coming? Yes, maybe I'll drop it for Valentine's Day as a surprise. I just still have not, the excuse is lame as fuck at this point, but I have not gotten like a converter to actually convert the VHS tape to my laptop. So that's really what's been the hold up. I literally have like an actual a real VHS tape, not the digital ones that use cassettes, and I have to find a way to transfer the cassette to my laptop. So that's been the hold up, but I do want to surprise you, maybe you guys, for Valentine's Day I could drop the vlog so you guys can enjoy it. Sometimes I just talk myself out of things where I feel like, okay, nobody cares at this point because Utah happened like a minute ago, but the fact that somebody asked makes me feel like, okay, yes, you guys definitely deserve the video, and I think Valentine's Day would be like a perfect fit to drop the video. So I don't want to make any promises because I hate doing that, but like I'm aiming to do that, or like I want to do that is a better word thing. It's getting painful. Okay, this is literally my last question. Advice for people that are insecure and don't see themselves as that girl. It's something within. I feel like I've just gotten confident with my presence on social media, which is weird to say because, again, I've just been active for so many years on Instagram, YouTube. I started my YouTube channel like 2 years ago, which is insane to think. Like, picture me then compared to now. And TikTok. So I'm literally on different platforms, but it doesn't mean that people social media aren't insecure, which is why I always tell people or advise people to always take a break and find out why you feel the way that you do. Sometimes it's always subconsciously that we immerse ourselves on these platforms and we just compare our own situations with everybody else's, especially with that term, that girl, that we got from TikTok. So it's so easy to compare yourself to other girls, and I feel like, or other people that may not be in the same circumstance or a situation as you. And I always feel like it's super healthy to realize like, okay, I might feel like I might be getting influenced. And that's what's crazy about social media culture these days, is that we're all subconsciously being influenced. Though you may feel insecure, you have to you basically have to identify whether that's an insecurity within yourself or an insecurity that was influenced by the platforms that you're like constantly on. Influencing is not always just brand deals this, brand deals that. It could just be, you know, just being on the app and just, oh my god, I want to be like her, oh my god, she's so inspiring, oh my god. But it's kind of like that's creating doubts in yourself within about yourself. Don't know if I'm making any sense. I could go on and on about this stuff, guys. Identify where your insecurity comes from. Identify whether it's something that is, you know, prone by social media or something that you've been dealing with for years. Again, like I mentioned in my self-discovery journey, I was super insecure about my teeth, and I felt like, oh my god, people have perfect teeth, why don't I have perfect teeth, why do I have braces? But, you know, you're completely normal for having insecurities. I'm insecure as well about certain things. So we're all human, and don't be so hard on yourself is what I can advise. So thank you guys so much for, you know, allowing me to express myself on all different platforms. I am so glad that you guys get to know me and want to ask me different questions to know how I am who I am today. I'm always so open to like sharing why I am the person that I am, because I feel like it's so important to know that I'm just not, you know, the pictures that you see on my social media. I'm just not the videos that you see on TikTok. I'm much more than that. I'm like a real person, and I have real dreams, real accomplishments, and, you know, different desires and different passions for different things. And I'm, you know, forever grateful that you guys want to get to know me on that level. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It means a lot to me, and it helps me, again, with my creative journey. So if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and catch me in the next video. Thank you guys again. I'll see you. Oh my god, my legs.